Check, check. I believe we're back. How we doing out there? Everybody doing all right? I hope you're having a good night wherever you are, or a good day, or a good morning. It's iced tea this round. Iced tea. Because it is hot. Hot where we are. Out here in the West Coast. San Francisco. It is warm. So I'm going to just move a few things around here. All right, looks like we're healthy. We're ready to roll. So tonight, I'm hoping to figure about 2 hours here. I'd like to play around with a couple ideas. And tonight, rather than working on something more finished, I thought I would sort of start something new tonight. Maybe something, a couple ideas I have floating around in my head. Nothing really solid. So I'm going to do a little bit of an exploration, as I often do when I'm in this phase. When I'm at this stage, it's usually just about trying to get something started. And in my classes, I teach people that they need to do a brain dump. They got to get it all out of your head, whatever's floating around a particular topic. It might be something you've been thinking about for a while. It might be, something that you'd kind of started before, a little sketch, maybe just an idea, maybe just some words or a thought that you had. But before you can really start to play around with something, you gotta do a brain dump. You gotta get it all out. So that can just start with taking an empty page like this and just doing whatever is in your head and letting it flow. Probably some stuff will come out that's already there, which is sort of the idea, is that the only way you're going to get to some new stuff is if you get out the old stuff. So you kind of have to let the stuff that's already in there seep out. And a lot of stuff that's already in our heads is stuff that's been put there by popular culture, popular media, whatever it is that we're looking at. That stuff gets in our brain because we see it, and it kind of gets recorded. And that's usually stuff somebody's already kind of done or pushed around. So the only way you get to the new stuff is if you kind of purge, do a dump and purge what's there. And then somewhere along there, you find something that you can play with, something that kind of starts you in a new direction, and you build on that and then add to it and build on that. So I don't know how far we're going to get tonight. I kind of was hoping that maybe I'd do some brainstorming here and then maybe come up with a concept in a rough format. And if it's good enough to take into later stages, then sorry, my son's giving me the eyeball here. That if I get something good enough, maybe I'll take it to later stages. But if not, then maybe tonight's just come up with a rough concept, and that's as far as it goes. The last couple of sessions, we've gone long on the Dragon Tower, so I kind of want to keep this one a little bit shorter and sweeter. So anyway, so I'm sitting here and I'm just working on some sketch paper, and I like working pretty inexpensive paper for this stage of the game. I like this Canson recycled stuff. Recycled paper's good because, it's nothing that has to really present well. It's usually inexpensive, and it's actually got a pretty decent tooth to it, and it takes a lot of material. So for the inexpensive cost of just doodling and brainstorming, it's fine, because you don't end up spending that much money or wasting that much or feeling bad about, doodling on paper that's expensive. So, yeah. So I think for now, I'm thinking a little bit about some sort of sci-fi kind of creature, I guess. I've been in the sort of fantasy realm for a little bit lately, so I'm kind of wanting to push a little bit more of that edge. So I'm thinking about, I don't know if it's a creature or if it's more like a character in a sci-fi setting, but definitely a character that lives in the remote territories. Thinking of something kind of, I don't know, something out in the perimeter, remote areas. So I'm thinking somebody maybe a little bit more haggard, not so slick, and maybe that is almost like used scrap. I'm thinking of like um, found objects that are applied to some sort of outfit or costume, and maybe somewhere underneath there is a human or a humanoid, but we're not really going to see too much of their natural bodies, so they're going to have a lot of this mechanical stuff sort of involved. So anyway, I'm just going to stay loose at this point and just kind of sketch here. Now, sometimes I sketch with something really light or a little bit on the harder side. Tonight I'm using just an HB graphite pencil, which I like because, I can make a lot of different marks. I can kind of get up on the tip and do this kind of thing, but at the same time, I can also drop in on the side, give myself a little bit of tone. And then, obviously someplace in between where you can get this nice kind of thick line, thin and thick line. So there's a lot you can do with these kinds of pencils, and that's what I love about them. And as long as it's not too dark and I'm not smearing too much, that's okay. But I'm thinking here about starting with a head shape as inspiration. So I'm thinking about something, get myself a little bit of a headpiece going. And I'm going to explore a lot of ideas just to get myself, just to find out what I'm attracted to. Something mechanical, maybe almost crude, maybe handcrafted. Just coming straight off the old noggin here. Something a little bit on the rectilinear side, kind of crude, almost maybe armor. So I had a nice day today with the family. Took my son out. So someday, if we're looking back at this was kind of COVID times, and so getting out is getting harder and harder to do and stay safe. But we try to get out every so often and do a little bike ride or something where we can kind of stay a little bit away from people. Hey, Russell, what's happening, man? Isn't this kind of late for you? What's up, my man? How you doing? Thanks for coming by. Appreciate it. And again, I don't really know too much right now what I'm doing, except I'm just finding some shapes. Maybe kind of thinking about it like a shape language a little bit. Some design theme that might be working. Just kind of working off whatever sort of comes to mind here. Thinking about protection. Almost like, thinking almost like a knight's helmet in the way that it was very crude. But with a little bit of technology there too, just so that we know that it's somehow connected to some understanding of science or technology, etc. Whoa, 40 hours, 3 days. I was just going to say, how's the comic coming? I caught a couple of your posts. So it looks like you've been busy, man. The work's looking good, though. It's looking good. Excited to see that issue get published. But hopefully you're enjoying your program too. All right, let's switch it up. Let's try something else. I kind of feel like I'm learning, but not there yet. Let's see what else we could do here. Some sort of head underneath here. Like this idea of something on the side. Maybe one eyepiece this time. It's kind of cool. Kind of like what I got going there. So it'd have to be some kind of maybe a helmet that wraps around. There's going to be a nose in there, right? So we're probably going to have to be thinking a little bit about some suggestion. It's kind of interesting. It's going good. It's going good. We've had some expansion going on, and of course, ramping up. I'm teaching online classes now, as I think everybody is that's still teaching. So it's going good. Doing a digital painting class right now, doing concept design, portfolio classes. But right now I'm doing a digital painting class. So. You enjoying your program out there? I like that idea there. That's kind of fun. You enjoying your program out there, Russell? I know when we talked a while back, you were kind of excited and ready to give it a shot. And boy, has the world changed since we talked, huh? I hope you're getting all you hoped out of the program. I know it was kind of a tough situation for you, but it made the most sense, and I think it sounded really exciting. So I hope you're enjoying your program. I see. Is that just by the nature of the like 4-year school, private school kind of format, or is it more like just philosophically as a school they have a different approach? And are they pushing you? Hopefully they're putting you to the test, man. That's what it's all about. If you aren't being pushed, then I think you're at a disadvantage. So I like how this piece sort of comes down here. There's a little suggestion. So we kind of have this language here happening, kind of a combination of triangles, sort of a shape language of triangles, squares. Where up here I'm dealing a little bit more with circles meet squares. Okay, we'll keep going here. I think I've really found 100% what I'm looking for, but that's okay. The beauty is enjoying the process. Discovery. I like this idea of kind of sort of almost like a mask. Breaking this up into sort of different pieces here. I like the way this kind of fans out at the back here. It's almost like, you know, the back side of those knight helmets sometimes had a little bit of curvature to follow the neck, the contour of the head. So I kind of like that this piece here. A little bit of how the same thing is happening here. It's like this kind of continuous curvature sort of following the back of the neck. So what's working here? What am I drawn to here? What's staying? What's sticking after a couple of drawings? It seems like I got something in this kind of helmet shape, maybe curved around the back. It seems like I have this separation of this sort of mask piece. So how far over does the helmet go? Is it sort of here? And this sort of idea that there's definitely something in the eyes. I like this kind of open slot, whether it's open air to see actual person or whether we just kind of get the tone. I'm not real sure yet. It seems like the side of the face is finding something angular here. I like that more angular look. I also like this idea of something kind of covering the mouth, which I'm guessing maybe that's for breathing, maybe respiration of some sort. It could be a filter. It kind of has this element of covering the mouth. I think this might be a little bit too much like other stuff we've seen. I like this better. And I kind of like this triangular nose piece. Yeah, that's pretty traditional in armor. I've seen that a lot. Sort of a secondary piece, maybe kind of sculpted to go over the nose. It seems like that is definitely something I continue to come back to here. That's about all I can say so far. But this, I don't want to imply too much bravado either. So I think this neck piece, if it does come out, I think it's going to maybe be a lot closer to the head. Not so far out. Okay. Well, let's put this one aside for a second. Let's switch it up a little. Yeah. I hear what you're saying, Russell. Excuse me one second. We're having a bit of a heat spell out here. You know, I think ultimately in everyone's journey, there gets the point where you leave behind instruction and you got to make it your own. That's what it's all about. It's about you knowing enough about what you're doing that now it's choices. So, and then volume. You need good quality work, but then you need enough of it, right? Yeah. So I think it sounds like you're in the part where you're now filling the portfolio with enough work, getting enough work done. Well, good for you, man. That's really great. That's awesome. All right. I'm just going to change tools here for a second. Just because I want to introduce a different kind of idea now. Now I'm just working with a marker. Maybe this is an under layer where we're seeing a little bit more of this idea of maybe kind of a wrap. I'm picturing maybe it's kind of warm or not very hospitable. So the sci-fi, when we talk about the outer perimeter, remote places. So maybe there's a warmth issue. So this might be like some sort of wrap that goes around the head first. And then maybe we sort of add pieces on that. Again, just brainstorming, whatever comes to the... Nice. Good for you, man. That's great. The other thing too is that you've had exposure to different approaches and different ideas. So I think the variety of things you expose yourself to only gives you a clearer picture of what you want to do. And then, of course, you learn things differently from different people. Different people teach different ways, they have different ideas of things that they're after. So it's all good in the end, because in the end, it's you sort of discovering what it is you want to do. And the good thing is, Russell, I remember, you've always been pretty clear about what you wanted to do. You just had to find the way there. And with each one that you do that helps you or doesn't do much for you, it tells you more. And so the more you know about what you need, it's sort of like you have to go through all the no's to get to the yeses. It's like, nope, not that. Nope, not that. That. I know when I finished with school, I spent a number of years jumping around to different things, different mediums, different kinds of work before I really figured out what was going to be my thing. And I'd even say to this day, I still take challenges and like to go in some different directions to experiment, like where am I going next? Because even when you do find your thing, you don't stop there either, right? You keep evolving. It's always an evolutionary process. It's the next step, whatever it is. For now, it's this. Then the next thing is that. I think part of being an artist and a creative person means having that curiosity about um, new things. Artists were always the curious ones. So it's not like you're going to do one thing and stop anyway. So, but you find your road that feels right and you follow it and you go with it. Okay, so we kind of have this wrapping piece here. So now I'm thinking a little bit about what would I add on top of this. Now going back to, again, some of my designs sort of over here, and I'm thinking a little bit about this maybe being underneath. Now I'm kind of doing something a little different. Now I'm kind of cutting away some shapes. Seeing what looks interesting. I'm kind of thinking that underneath here we might get some of this. Hey, Ron, man. Thanks for coming by. All right, I got all my good buddies here tonight. Been loving your post, Ron. Metal, dude. Digging it. So my buddy here, Creature Brush, we're old school chums from way back. Check him out. Instagram. So yeah, just kind of playing around with some ideas for kind of armor, but more like protection, which I guess I guess that's what armor is, but not so much for battle, but maybe from the elements. I'm picturing that, maybe a warm climate or a very rough climate, so the weather would be tough if you were exposed. So I'm kind of thinking about covering the face, the body with some sort of armor, but not so heavy that it's going to weigh you down. And it's, again, not so much for battle is maybe more just keeping the elements away. But then again, yeah, maybe if you come across something that you have to do battle with, then I guess, yeah, it would cover you there as well. I kind of like these circle shapes I'm still coming in, these kind of cheek circles. Just playing around, a little jelly over the top of some marker, just ad hoc here. Really didn't have anything in mind when I started tonight. Ron, drop your Instagram on there, man. Russell, you should check him out. Russell's a former student of mine from back in AI days, and he is a comic madman. He's working on his own story, and I think he's going through a comic program right now. Russell, drop your Instagram too, buddy, if you got one in there and you guys want some pub. I like this idea. So then we'd have this kind of almost like mummy wrap, kind of protecting your skin. So this kind of this combination of some hard material meets soft material. And then again, I like a little bit of what was going on back over here. Some of this kind of shape along the back. It's sort of angular meets curve. So this is kind of cool. You might be getting onto something here. So a little bit of that back of the armor. Definitely, definitely. Just got to protect the back of the head there a little bit. It's probably 2 pieces. I'm going to guess that this kind of comes back over the top. But then this front piece, I like the idea of this kind of a deal. I have to figure that probably this would be a little bit in the shadows here underneath. And this would sort of probably be under the shadows. The mouth would be free to talk. So we're coming in a little bit from the side here. So sometimes what I like to do is I like to work two different views at the same time, because you see stuff um, at a different position, different angle. You know, sort of like if you're modeling and you rotate your model, you get ideas because you're looking at a different angle. So if you're working two views same time, you think of design elements that might need to be there. Like I like the way that this chin comes across here, but then this is more flexible material here. So we have a little bit of this kind of cloth wrap so the mouth can move. Maybe it's even got some sort of screening in there. Or maybe we could even, we could throw a filter. Ooh, I like that. It's more robotic looking, a little less human. Maybe it's some sort of like mesh screen. I like that. It's more like a little breather thing. So we've got the shields kind of protecting the cheeks and the forehead. Curved sort of helmet, which I guess would ricochet. I don't want too much military. I really want sort of makeshift. So somehow we got to connect this as a second piece to the back. So my little guy's going to bed. I'm getting the symbols. Hold on, I got to do this. So yeah, this is pretty cool. Kind of digging this. I think I'm ready for maybe expanding this into something like that's full body now. So let's try that. So usually when I'm loose sketching like this, I really like working with markers as sort of a quick way to establish volume. And sometimes it's fun to start with the marker, sort of not knowing where you're going 100% either. Like let the shape language tell you where to go. So I think I'll do that here. I'm going to sort of work up this. I really like what I'm starting to get here. I'm seeing it now. So now I want to get that into something full body. So again, does this character have a job, have an occupation? Protected from the elements. There's an element of kind of aggressive fighter. There's a little bit of soldier there. I can't lie. There's some soldier there. It really wasn't my intention. In fact, I was thinking about something a little more rough. But I kind of like the way that this is turning into something that's like militia. Maybe like militia. Like not full organized army, but maybe independent soldier, or maybe gun for hire, or maybe just a person that has to live in these harsh conditions. And the visor in the back is sort of protecting the neck, the back of the head. Something like this probably gets really warm or really cold, so we have this inner layer of wrap which is sort of protecting. So this isn't super heavy stuff. It isn't totally closed. It's not encased. So I think maybe what I'll do here is kind of see if I can separate a little bit of where the cloth sort of comes through. versus the sort of more of the machinery or more of the hardware that gets strapped onto the outside. Be back 1 second. All right, I'm back. So yeah, we have a little bit of this sort of wrap stuff underneath. It's light gear around the face, and then the rest is kind of metallic. So let's think how this would look. So a little proportional breakdown sometimes kind of help you keep track of where you are. So let's see. So I'm thinking like, all right, this guy's going to have probably some weapons, but it's more functionary than that. All right, more functional than that. It's not going to be like big old guns ablazing. It could be a staff, maybe something that a staff that has a special sort of feature to it, almost like it could maybe be some sort of gun. For sure. So Ron, you drawing with me? Let's do it, buddy. Russell's doing his homework. Russell's working on his comic. Let's do this, guys. If I know Ron, he's drawn anyway. The key is, are the kids down yet? Russell, you don't have this problem yet. Mine just went to bed, so Papa gets to play. So this other arm. So let's see if he's holding this kind of. Capes are in right now. Could think about that. Probably similar kind of half protected, half not. So let's say a chest piece, sort of abdominal piece. Probably some sort of utility belt, functionary belt here. No crotch protection. Not that you shouldn't always have crotch protection. But in this case, that might get a little hot or cold. So I'm going to go with more, maybe just sort of boots, some sort of maybe shin guards. So some sort of pads here on the front. I like that. So this hand will be sort of up here on holding on. So the other arm, probably holding something else. Some sort of bag, definitely, on the back. Works alone, probably has to take his lunch. Move this up a little, sorry guys. So we're kind of thinking a little bit about what the nature of what this person does. This is not an aggressive stance. It's more like I'm here to do my business. Maybe, I guess the arm could kind of maybe just be down to the side. Maybe holding something else. I like that. I don't know what that is. Maybe some sort of map, spyglass. Ooh, that might work. Something for seeing bigger distances. All right. So I got a little something started here. So usually now I'm going to come back in. So I've got some shapes going, right? And I have a little sense of some design language, started here. Although I wouldn't call this, finalized by any stretch. But imagine that somewhere under here there's going to be sort of an ear shape, which you'd probably want open, but I'm going to guess that maybe there's some sort of hearing device. If they've got a little bit of this other technology, maybe there's something inside that goes in the ear that allows you to sort of hear. But we've got a little bit of an ear shape over there nonetheless. Sort of have this intersection of this plate and this curvature of the helmet, which I don't know that I'm really jazzed about. I think this curve, sort of almost creating a tangent. This curve should go behind the mask there, maybe a little bit. Have to figure out how those two come together. So this is the neck, sort of wrapped. So let's start with that. So what are we looking at as a profile? Let's find a little center line here first. And we've got a little bit of this headpiece. Okay, so we got a little bit of a nose piece, a little bit of this sort of circular cheek piece. It definitely could be a dangerous world, and you always need to keep your dumplings covered. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So we got the edge of that helmet kind of curving. Something like that. All right. So we're talking about chest protection. So I think in this case, probably one piece. A little bit of a center line. Always good to keep your center line where things are. So maybe this kind of chest plate first. Again, thing kind of wraps. These pieces kind of wrap in from the side. I don't know if they would be open in the middle. I'm thinking open maybe a little bit like this. But they have to come far enough around the side here, so we'll see. No worries. How's everybody doing out there? Thanks for joining tonight. I hope you're doing something creative of your own. We're trying to avoid the Sunday night blues. The Sunday night blues, which means the end of your weekend. Which, you know, if you like what you're doing, it really doesn't matter what day of the week we're talking about here. But I think that's the beauty. If you're doing your passion, whatever it is else you're doing in your life, you can get by if you're able to still find some time to carve out the thing that brings you joy. So I hope you're able to find that somewhere. This is a little too molded. I don't think I wanted something this form fitting. So let's see here. Maybe I could kind of. I guess I didn't want something that was so machine made. Maybe these are all sort of handmade. How did I know that I wanted to do something like this? Well, to be honest with you, I really just was thinking about it for about half an hour before we started, and it's just a feel thing. Um, Most of the stuff I'm doing here on stream, I'm just doing for fun and just exercise and practice. So if it feels like something I haven't done in a while, that can sometimes help me start. Try to give myself a little bit of that sort of freedom to just kind of do what I've been either thinking about or wanting to just do, aside from everything else. Just so again, we've got padding, so we got to be thinking a little bit about what does this character do. One sec. So I don't know. I guess I was feeling a little bit more renegade mood. All right. This is one idea. I can't say that I'm 100% sold on it. Um, I think what we need to know is maybe, are we knowing what this character does yet? I'm going to come back in with this a little bit more contrast just to see if any of the shape language comes out here. I really want to accentuate, again, the sort of organic in combination with, I like this idea of like there's more of a suit, and that this is, a lot of this is kind of padding added, like additional pieces strapped on. So it's not so form-fitting, it's not so machine-made. So maybe he's like he seems like maybe he'd be like a herd, a guy who controls things. He's definitely a person of control, right? New opportunities. I'm digging that. So I'm kind of thinking that this is a little bit about the job. It looks like it would probably hurt. Not sure what this thing does yet. Kind of feels like a scope, maybe. But maybe it's actually another way to hold the stick. I don't know. Not even sure what the hell this thing does. Feels like this might be a shoulder stock, though, here at this end. So it's kind of rifle, but also maybe just more like a poker. I don't know. That helmet shape, though. I'm going to put in a little more contrast in here. Putting some reflections in here. I like that shape. I like that shape a lot. It's kind of like a bullet. It's That's the old school kind of almost like a Roman soldier's helmet, but then with this mask that's a little bit more, and then this kind of breather piece. I don't know if I like the cape or not. The cape's a little bit like, I don't know. Maybe a little bit too much. Too royal, too significant, too, I don't know. Too important. This guy's a loner. Just putting in a few reflections. Those boots are too military issue, that's for sure. Let's turn them into rap. More of a robust teal. Let's There is definitely some Mandalorian, isn't there? I am loving that show, by the way. I think it's like the greatest thing Star Wars since since Rogue One. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm loving the new movies, no doubt. More Star Wars is never a bad thing. I don't care what it is, but Favreau and all of those directors that they're getting to work on those episodes is just fantastic. I just love the whole vibe of what they're doing. It's like a Western. I guess it could be a little Mandalorian. I mean, we are doing some sci-fi here, huh? A little bit. But I guess that's where I wanted somebody a little more, I don't know, a little more out there, I guess. Somewhere out there beyond the Dune Sea. Um, but not too much of an order. An independent person with sort of a lot of scraps. I'm thinking a little bit more about like maybe if we're talking Star Wars, maybe something more along the lines like Rey, you know, on sort of a deserted planet like Jakku or something, someplace where it's just kind of really kind of remote like that. Okay, we're getting there. So what do we keep? What do we get rid of? And maybe how do we bring out the occupation a little bit more? Why the cape? Is the cape necessary? I mean, a cape's badass, looks great, but is it necessary? Is it coverage? Is it doubling as warmth? Or maybe it's just recognition. Maybe it's like a silhouette thing where it's just making a person look a little tougher than they might from a distance. Now, Dune, now you're talking. I haven't seen it yet, but I did know that there was one, so I got to try and catch it. It's funny, last year I went back and listened to Dune again. I do a lot of audiobooks while I'm drawing. And Dune is one of them. Also, I don't know, what are they doing anything with Kenobi? I thought they were going to do something with Kenobi too. I caught that audiobook a couple years back. Sort of in those years after Revenge of the Sith and before New Hope, like the Tatooine years. Okay. So let's see here. He's got a staff. Got to wrap this up, at least for tonight. What else do I need to know here? So he's got some protection. He's got some padding. In case he gets any tussles with people. He's got this sort of stick slash staff slash gun. His occupation is what? Scavenger? I'm also thinking about something like maybe a herd, maybe sort of like it's like a shepherd in a way. And he's got the little animals that he's herding, like, keeping them together. So he's moving things around. Not a farmer. Maybe something in the livestock. Would there be any other little creatures nearby? Hunter. He's a trader. He trades things. Could be scavenger, I guess, I'm thinking like this might be like either a map or some sort of eyepiece. Got to switch up my tunes. Yeah, although we're not Jedi here, I think. But definitely somebody you'd want to be careful tussling with. Maybe something a little bit more runs maybe a scout. Scout might work. Sort of a freelance kind of scout, somebody that could be commissioned to bring information, deliver, messenger. Kind of like that idea. So we got a little bit of this mouthpiece here. I'm going to come back in with a little more tone. Could be. I didn't want him to be that organized. I definitely wasn't thinking like any part of like a soldier of an organized army. So definitely somebody for hire, that you could maybe hire to have take you places. He could escort you. Could do protection services, maybe provide information, a little bit of espionage, something like that. Yeah, I kind of like the sound of that. Seems possible. Where are we at here? I'm going to darken things up a little bit. Also have to kind of resolve these ear pieces. I kind of have this side piece, but I don't know that it's going to quite do the same thing. Oh, hold on. See if I can fix this really quick. Hmm. Hmm. All right. If you're with me there, I had this happen one other time, and I still haven't figured out exactly why this seems to happen. There is something in either my camera. I don't know. Sit tight, gang. There we go. Well, we're back on one of them. Hold on. Okay. So I guess you learn something new all the time. I don't exactly know what just happens there, but there's this thing that occasionally happens where I have a that white out thing happen, and I haven't been able to figure out why. Just sit tight for a second, guys. Let me see if I can figure things out here. Okay, well, that was interesting. You learn something new all the time. Um, we'll keep rolling. Yes, I don't know what this is. Does anybody out there stream at all? And if you do, you ever get the whiteout? I have no idea what this is. It's really bizarre, but it's sort of, yeah, it's, I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. It's just like randomly we're suddenly poof. Whatever. We're back. Good enough. Wish I knew why that happened, because that's happened like one other time and I didn't know what the hell was going on. But it looks like it didn't persist, so. All right. So where are we going from here? Well, I don't have much longer for tonight, so we'll be wrapping up soon, I think. Well, I like my helmet design. I think we ended up with something kind of interesting. Might take further renditions going forward, but kind of got a little bit of a direction, something kind of interesting going here. Trying to think what else I might add to this. I feel like I want to flesh this out just a little bit more. For sure, for sure. What am I running? I think I'm running a Logitech 1080 camera. I don't know if you guys ever run into that, but I'm running a C920, which I've had no problems. But I think once last time and this time, it just suddenly did that whiteout thing, and I don't know why at all. It seems that if I restart it, it seems okay once I restart it, but it's weird. It's like after about like an hour and a half or so in, I don't know if it's a memory thing, but it seems like when I just pull it out, you know, unplug it, plug it back in, it seems to correct itself and come back in. Getting a little dry here on the old 50%. Go 1/2 step darker here. I feel like here I made a little bit of an adjustment. Thanks, Russell, by the way. Thanks for swinging by. Good to talk to you again. My buddy Ron. Creature Brush, check him out on Instagram. I guess this is a good time for the shameless plug. So I am Trey Gallaher, and if you are new tonight joining me, welcome. I'm usually out here on the weekends, usually Saturdays, Sunday evenings. If you are out and want to come draw with me, come draw with me. You can catch me on Instagram at Trey Gallaher. And you can catch me on Facebook at Art by Trey Gallaher. And of course, you can check me out on my website at TreyGallaher.com. So you got to have all the connections and social media. Alright, so a few more spot blacks, and I think I'm going to call this one for tonight. Just want to drop in a few darkened areas. Try to pop a little more dimension out of here. I Rage Phage. Thanks for the help, buddy. I appreciate it. Few little kind of reflections here just to get a little sense of the material. Gonna have to figure out how a little bit of a shadow here. little bit along these edges. All right. Well, I hope you had fun tonight. Chase away those Sunday blues. And as our friend I Rage Phage points out, tomorrow is a new week and new opportunities. New opportunities to work on your passions. And I hope that you get a chance to work on your passions this week. Draw, 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 as we like to say. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. This world is getting hard enough to live in. So I think that if we can do anything to help each other out, we should. We should be good to each other. Try to understand that you don't know what someone else is experiencing until you've walked in their shoes, right? So give them the benefit of the doubt. Hope you were able to get some work done tonight with me. Maybe you drew something. I hope you did. Maybe got a little bit of work done. Got caught up but I enjoyed my time with you for sure. So I think for tonight, that's going to do it.